All right, well, call me Ishmael? No, call me a human. A human who wrote down that she was going to do a TikTok live in two different places at two different times. So, on the off chance, on the off chance that this is when I said I was going to do it, and I actually did look up the TikTok video that I said I was going to do it. Hey all, yeah, you know what? It's funny. I I don't know. I said I was going to do it, and then I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't. So here I am, and who knows? I might need to show up at around 11 o'clock, which is when I said I was going to do it too. Would it hurt to do two TikTok lives on a day? I think not. So good morning all. So Beth, Destination Declutter, decluttering life coach, here with you early on a Tuesday morning, here to help you with your clutter and your stuff. I literally just got off of a one-on-one coaching thing. I do one-on-one coaching with clients over Zoom. So I have clients as I look at my map of the US all over the world, all over the US anyway. And I'm here to help you. Unspeakable Cat saying, good grief, it's early. Yeah, isn't it? Um, this is really funny. I am just cracking up at myself because I like to keep track of things, and scheduling stuff is how you get it done. Okay, scheduling stuff in my mind is saying I'm making a promise to yourself to say I'm going to do a certain thing at a certain time, and then you do it. Now that's decluttering, that's doing a TikTok live. And one of the ways that I do this is I will also then not just have my schedule in here, oh, I know I got to do that, but I will often write it down. Um, and I write it down because I'm old school, I'm Gen X, so I'm kind of do the both and, as they say. I do it on paper. I do it on paper, but then I also do it digitally. So here I am, and I'm just rock you like a hurricane. Oh, I crack myself up. Um, well, this is silly because, okay, there we go. No, that's that one. Doesn't matter. Here I am. Never mind what I did in the past. Here I am with you now. Let's make the most of our time together, okay? I also may just do a TikTok live at 11 because I may have promised some people like that. So good morning, all. What I do, what I'm showing up in your life for, ideally, this is why I'm even showing up, is to help you with what you're struggling with clutter-wise. I know what it's like to live in a cluttered house. That was the past. I now live differently and I freaking love it. Now, it took me way too long to get to a place where I loved my life, clutter-wise and otherwise. So I show up to give you some shortcuts. I like to think of things. If you look behind me, I rarely ask people to look, but at the camera when I am doing a TikTok live, but I'm always talking in kind of a road trip metaphor. So you're here in your life on a journey, right? And my hair's always in the way. I should probably move it up. Is you're on a destination, you're on a road trip. Life is a road trip. Life is a highway. Okay? There we go. Oh, fun. I just stopped a decluttering binge. Scorpions. Scorpions, what is it? Down in Gorky Park. Um, yeah, that would make me pause too. But am I going to let scorpions get in the way of me have my house looking, feeling like I want it to? I don't think so. So I show up in your life, your wacky Gen X friend who's like, dude, you can do something about this. Dude, Jeff Spicoli. But I gotta, in order for me to help you, you have to know what's jamming you up. If you were stuck on the side of the road and I was your friend, you're like, I'm not moving in the direction that I want. I'm spinning my wheels. I'm spinning my wheels when I'm not getting anywhere. Then you and I would we wouldn't be mad. We would take a curious look at your car and say, okay, are all tires, do you have air in your tires? Okay, do you have gas in your tank? All right, is there a missed connection underneath the hood? We would go through and with curiosity, we would say, okay, oh, now I get what's going on here. Now we can solve the problem. Okay. Um, so I show up. Yeah, there we go. Rock you like a hurricane. Exactly. What's a good list for preparing like a hurricane? I love that. Here I am. There we go. Okay, so Gossamer Wing is saying, I've been making good decluttering progress. Yay. Congratulations. That's good stuff. Painful slow, but manageable. Now, interesting because I think the more I'm telling you, I always feel like little Edie. I'm telling you, when the more I coach, the more I realize it's inch by inch, life's a cinch. I know I sound like, I think I said this on one of the pop-up TikTok lives that I did when I was traveling this past week. A little like trivet or from one of those gift shops, like the old-timey ones, the little metal trivets, the black ones with the embossed kind of yellow letters on them. Yard by yard, life is hard. But inch by inch, life's a cinch. Now, I like rhymes, so that might help you, but baby steps in it. Baby steps. Every single thing. The more I coach, the more it is revealed to me that there are just baby steps for everything. Okay? So, Gossamer Wing, I love that you're making slow, manageable decluttering progress. That's awesome. I'm just curious about the painful part of it. Why is it painfully slow? Let's take the pain out of it. You guys, good morning, Jennifer. Nice to see you. And Strong Silver Soul Sister and Sharon. Why the pain? You guys, life is so short. Let's remove the pain. Let's just enjoy it. Maybe you're cruising along. Now I'm thinking of, I'm thinking of like freaking Snoop Dogg. You know, you're kind of just chilling. You're cruising along at a pace that feels good to you. So, cruising along at a pace that feels good to you, doesn't that sound like a good way to go through life? You know? Morning. Cruising along, not too fast, not too slow, you know, is cruising along at a speed that feels good to you. I know when I'm driving from Pennsylvania up to Massachusetts and I'm going through, like I'm on the Jersey Turnpike, just about to get over the George Washington Bridge, Washington Bridge, that sometimes people are going too slow ahead of me and sometimes people are going too fast behind me. What I have is I have my own speed that I'm going. So, but they're also going at a speed that feels good to them. We're all different. But finding a pace, finding a speed that feels good to you, feels good. Who doesn't want to feel good? This is, rolling down the street. Exactly. Now, notice how feeling good is why we're doing this. So before you even start to declutter, before you even start your big declutters, your small declutters, if you're kind of not just doing it like, oh, that's right, I got to put the dishes away, because I have some dishes to put away. Saying to yourself, what's in it for me? Okay, why am I doing this? Okay. Unspeakable Kath is saying, preparing for company. I'm doing this because I have company coming over. Now, here's a fun thing. An external deadline tends to kick us in the pants, but we can also get a bit frantic. I'm going through HE double toothpicks, trying to find the vacuum bags for storing it, okay, and to store winter stuff. Okay. I suggest the internet. I don't know. It works. But yes, don't go through hell about it. It can be frustrating, you know? But it's worth examining how you're feeling doing this. And is the feeling like hell making it easier for you to find those vacuum bags or not? Is it making it worse? Who wants to feel like hell? No. Look for some bags. Notice how when you feel a certain way, it makes certain things much more unpleasant, you know? Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Unspeakable Kath, I am not a user of the vacuum bags, so I can't, but there are people out there who are. You can find some folks. There's an answer out there. I'm just saying I'm not the answer because I don't use them. Like it would be disingenuous for me to be like, oh, well, you know what you do, but there's so many resources out there for those things. The thing I will say from my point of view would be like, okay, the clothing that you're about to vacuum seal away, have you decluttered it? Have you checked in with yourself to say, do I need / want all of these clothes? Maybe you do, and that's cool, and you're going to vacuum seal them anyway. But maybe if you didn't have so many, you might not to vacuum seal them and you could store them in a different way. I always go through me, Beth, Destination Decluttered. I will always start with, did you go through it and do you really all need all that stuff? Or want all that stuff? Brooke is asking, I feel like I'm on the radio. I'm on the radio. I love it. Suggestions for clearing kids' clutter when they won't let go. Now, this is how I feel, and I am totally true facts here. Facts here. I don't have children. I babysat all my life. I am the oldest of three kids. I have experience with nieces and nephews, so I can talk about things in theory. I know that it isn't as going to be as easy as I say this. Anybody ever feel like this? Like you can say it. All you need to do is this, and this. It's kind of like working out. All you need to do is 50 reps of this and 100. But okay. But what I will offer to you is kids clutter. Teaching your kids that it's okay to say goodbye to the things that they don't want anymore and to not get hung up on it. I feel like being decluttered, learning how to declutter, having the skill of decluttering is a life skill. It is one of the many things you will teach your children as you grow them up into to happy, good citizens. And one of the things you do as a good citizen is you learn to take care of your own stuff. And what I will just say is a lot of what we tend to forget when we're doing stuff is the energy behind what we're doing and why we're doing it. If you're frustrated because your kids aren't letting go of stuff and they're putting it everywhere, your frustration's going to come out and they're going to sense a sense of frustration. They're going to pick up on that vibe. They're going to pick up on that vibe when they're doing things. What I want to offer to you is, and to all of us, is to check yourself for sweatpants, as my sister would say. Check your vibe. What's the energy behind what you're doing? How are you feeling when you're doing it? If you go into something with love in your heart for yourself and for your kids, you will show up a lot differently. Even your words will sound different. The exact same words sound totally different depending upon your energy. Listen to this. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why? Why did you do that? Versus, why'd you do that? Why? Same words, different vibe, different intention. Frustration, anger shuts people down. Love opens them up. Works on other people, but working on ourselves. So I say this to you, Brooke, to get curious about your own suggestions, your own areas. Find out about what makes you tick. You can more easily help other people. That's why I am only a coach, and I'm now in my fifth decade of life. It took me a long time to get this way, but now that I know about myself, I know enough to know that what I do is solid. I've practiced it enough that I can help other people with it. So get curious as to what your kids say when they don't want to get rid of stuff or rehome things. I'm trying to practice not saying get rid of. Get curious about the way you feel about your things. Where do you struggle rehoming items that you no longer want? When do you put a sentimental attachment on a random object because it tells you a story? So have some compassion with your kids. They don't have the skills. Teach them, but the only way you can teach somebody something is if you learn how to do it first. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. The next Dr. Dre, the next episode. I love it. There we go. Opportunity to declutter, says Laura Gibbons Voorhees. My litmus test of what gets to stay in a room is, do I use this often? That's cool. Litmus tests. I remember litmus tests. Reminds me of fifth grade and Mrs. Langlois class. Yeah. I love this. Jay is sharing, and I say this, I will share this with you. So folks who are just tuning in, Beth, Destination Declutter, TikTok Live. But I also, these TikTok Lives for now are recorded and uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. And the comments do not come over with that, so that's why I repeat these things. Also, for the folks that are listening to me and kind of have that wonderful, oh, she's on doing it's TikTok Live, I'll go declutter my house while she's on. I can keep you up to speed with what I'm responding to, as opposed to just being like, yep, oh, right, yeah, no, I get that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, so Jay is saying, I have spent the past couple weeks decluttering, and I feel so much less anxious. That's why we're doing it. We only declutter to make ourselves feel better. If it's not making you feel better, get curious as to why it isn't. But that's why we do it. The clutter tends to make us feel anxious. I don't know where my stuff is. I can't find the pants that are clean. Where's my spatula? I don't know where the batteries are for the light, the flashlight. We declutter. I declutter anyway to make myself feel better. Okay? I want you to too. Would you having less clutter in your home, when you close your eyes and you don't see your home how it is, you see your home how it is, and then you close your eyes, and with the power of imagination, would you, when your home looks better, do you feel better? That's why I show up to do this. It's not just to make it look good. I don't really care what it looks like. I want it to feel good to you. And it doesn't matter anybody else. I want it to feel good to you. That's what I do it. That's why I'm a decluttering life coach, because it's not just about how to make it look good on the surface. It's about what keeps you cluttered, what gets you cluttered, and how can we undo those things so you have a more permanent way of living where your stuff is where you want it to be. It's just the right amount of stuff, not too much, kind of like Goldilocks, not too much, not too little, just right. Not too, finding where it is. Okay? I love it. What else do we have here? Yeah. Okay, Jay is also following up. It's crazy. I never realized how much it was impacting my mental health. Yeah, sometimes we don't. We just think it's the way it is. And it depends on how you're wired and it depends on how you grew up. But think of just the human brain, okay? Let's get into this. And I've got a picture of the brain right here that I'm looking at. Is every single day your brain's job is to translate what your eyes see into something that makes sense. I'm looking at a bunch of random stuff around my room. And so your brain is always identifying and sorting and commenting and devising it. I don't want to get too much into the science of it, which is kind of crazy, but it's like one of those things where it's like the only reason things exist out there is because your brain has translated it so it looks like a thing. A little bit too deep for the morning, so I'll back off of that. But just think of how many times you have to look at something and your brain has to say, it's this shape, it's this color, it's got a smiley face on it, it's a doily, it's a lampshade, it's a Pee Wee Herman doll, it's a framed, picture. Your brain is working all the time. The more things it has to look at, the more things it needs to identify and categorize and problem solve for. So the fewer things you have, it just gives your brain a break. Now, I will share with you, good morning, German Maid and Amstakuna. I have, the way my room is set up, I used to be in visual merchandising, and so I know that your eyes need a chance to just rest. That's why I think minimalism tends to be appealing to some people, because they feel restful when they just look at something plain. I like to bop between the two. So I have spaces in my room that are not as full as they used to be. In fact, it feels kind of echoey in here, which is kind of weird. But then I have a little kind of concentrated area in a few different rooms where I put a lot of things that I enjoy looking at. There's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and there's a little thing, and there's my ladies, and there's, all sorts of inspirational things. I focus that into a little area so I can look at my stuff there, but then I also have a chance for my brain to basically go, I don't have to work so hard. So clutter definitely can impact your mental health. Also, depending upon the quantity and quality of your stuff, you may have stuff that tells you stories you don't like. Those are the clothes that don't fit me anymore. That's something my ex gave me. That's the thing I spent a wicked lot of money on that doesn't work. Notice the stories you tell yourself about your things can also have an impact on your mental health. Ooh, speaking of impact on your mental health, this must have felt good. Cat Mama is saying, shredded 30 years of tax returns. Yes! 3 bags out yesterday. Heard nurses and teachers have the most clutter. Yeah, long hours, etc. Filing cabinet going to Goodwill. Oh, I gotta tell you, here's where I am a coach, and so I am very professional in a lot of ways, and I will be human enough to tell you that I personally I do not like seeing filing cabinets in your home. I don't think we need them. I think there's other ways you can file. They are so unattractive. Who wants to live in an office? I don't. So I love that you're taking, not only did you file all that stuff that you thought you needed for 30 years and you didn't, you shredded it, and now you're getting rid of a filing cabinet. I freaking love it. Yay. I love it, Cat Mama. Awesome. And yeah, it's interesting that you say, a Cat Mama is mentioning, I heard nurses and teachers have the most clutter because of the long hours, etc. I don't know. I will say in my one-on-one coaching, I have had quite a number of teachers as my clients. And I think it's because they are told to keep things, that, oh, I could do something with this. I don't judge. I think it's curious. I think it's interesting that certain people tend to gravitate towards clutter versus others. But congratulations on that feeling. 30 years tax returns. Now, I get some tax stuff to do today, no lie. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm not particularly looking forward to it. This thing that's literally going to take me 4 minutes. It's so funny. But I've been not dreading it, but I've just been postponing it because we've been on the road. But I know I'm going to feel good once it's done. Okay, there we go. Gossamer Wing. I just did a massive shredding too. Feels so good. As I like to say, cue the Chuck Mangione. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba da ba. The name of that song is Feels So Good. Okay, that's why I say it, and it cracks me up. Okay. Potter of Two is saying, will you be doing a Zoom for your breeze block method? I might. That's going to be just for, and I'll let you know this. So breeze blocking, I got it right here. Sometimes it works 99.9% of the time, except for today when I didn't align my digital and my paper calendar, but no worries. Maybe I'll do 2 TikTok lives today to just cover the bases. Breeze blocking is what I call, it's like I don't even want to say this phrase, but time management system. Even saying that bores me. I was bored before I even began, as Morrissey would say. But what it is, it's a way of writing stuff down somewhere to increase the likelihood that you get stuff done. That's really what it is. If you want to get stuff done, get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper or onto digital or to both. Okay? So I might do that. I might do a Zoom for that. I kind of feel like one might be coming up now that I've got this big trip behind me. I was at a conference this past week. But the only thing I will tell you is that if I do a seminar like that, if I do a training, it's only going to be for people who are on the mailing list. So destinationdeclutter.com/join is how you get on the mailing list. And I do a lot of free stuff for my mailing list people right now. I may change that up. My business is flexible and it's a work in progress. But for now, I have been even told that I offer too many free things to the people who don't pay me. I will take note of that. And the cool thing is I get to decide what I want. And for now, I've decided that that's how I want to do things. It may not be all the time, though. And the people that are going to get the first dibs on the good stuff are always going to be the people on the mailing list, and especially my paying one-on-one clients. So if you want some of this free stuff while I'm still giving away some free stuff, hop on my mailing list, destinationdeclutter.com/join. And yeah, breeze blocking, getting your thoughts out of your head onto paper so then you can take action. I mean, this is just how I live now, and I get so much good stuff done. Yesterday, I will share this with you, I was able to see the eclipse. It was cloudy because I realized that I was going to be traveling on a day that the eclipse was, and so I aligned our flights home to be on the path. The only reason I do that was because I had an idea in my head that felt like it would be fun. I wrote it down. I said, how can I get this to happen? I made it happen. There we go. There we go. Yeah, oh, interesting. Laura Gibbons Voorhees is saying, you just helped me understand what my brother did. He radically decluttered. He needed a brain eyes break. Yes. Many times people who have grown up with clutter will do one of two things, or probably anything in between, because everybody's different. You either tend to be a clutterer, or sometimes you're saying, I hated that feeling of clutter, so I go minimalist. But each one of us, again, I go back to that pace, the way you're wired. Each one of us has a quantity and a quality of items that makes us feel good, and too much is too much, and too little might feel too little. Yeah, BB says if the item doesn't make you feel good, get rid of it. There we go. Jennifer loaded the dishwasher while listening before work. See? Those little things can add up. Little times. What you do with your time is such a cool thing to think about, because you can get a lot done in a little bit of time. Okay, so Hai is saying, it is tough with small budgets. When do you frequently find a use for the thing you have left over? Yeah, It's like, yeah, leftover food. Sometimes you eat it, sometimes you have to throw it away because it went bad because you thought you were going to use it and you didn't. And then it had a shelf life, it went bad. Same with the stuff that you save, but notice that you save things. We tend to save things from a place of having experienced the not having of it, the lack, as they say in the biz. Is I never want to be without that again because I was without it and it felt sucky. But sometimes our nervous systems, our heart, our internal, our stories, and our feelings about things don't necessarily jibe with what's going on in our lives. And it can get out of whack, and that's what clutter tends to be too much. It's not like I have none and now I have just right. You go from I'm having none to just right, but if just right feels this good way, then more can feel better until it doesn't. That's why I get too much. That's why we overeat, we overdrink, we overspend, we oversave because we are just out of whack with the feeling of just right and being good and stopping right there. And it's all up to you what you keep and what you don't keep. I want to just give you these. I love sharing ideas that maybe throughout the day you've never thought of something a certain way before. And because the fact that you have TikTok on in the morning when you're getting up to get ready for work or whatever you're doing in the morning, that you've heard an idea that sparks a little spark. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And you kind of roll it around in your head and you play with it and see what comes up for you and see how does this apply to my life or not. I love stuff like that. I love it. So that's why I like to help that people. There we go. And everybody's got their own way of doing stuff. German Maid says I have my shredder beside my desk, shred mail as it comes in so it doesn't pile up. Yeah, I have a way of dealing with paper that I don't want. I will typically, old fashioned, I will tear things into shreds because I like the visceral feeling of, oh yeah, I don't need this. But I also have a bag of paper in the basement that when I have stuff that I feel like should be shredded, but I don't feel like owning a shredder or owning a filing cabinet, is that I put it in there and I wait for one of those shredding events that happens in my town maybe once every 6 months or so. I love it. Kara says, getting stuff listed sold in savers. I love it. I saw that on one of your TikToks that you said the sold in savers. I love the incorporating of that, and I'm a fan of the alliteration. Kara is decluttering her home and selling stuff so that to make space, but also selling stuff to buy some native plants for her yard, which I think is awesome. We have a stack of vintage breeze blocks for free for the garden. Yes. Oh my gosh, and those must be very rare up there in New England. I love it. Awesome stuff. Keep going. I was not on a flight during the eclipse. What I did really quickly was I knew that if I was on my, this is how things happen. You need to get from point A to point B. I was in Los Angeles, California. I needed to get to Philadelphia, LAX to PHL. It could be a direct route. It is. That was the quickest route, but it wouldn't be the most enjoyable. When I knew I was flying, because my conference was over, when I was going to be flying on the day of the eclipse, I said, you know what? I really want to see if I can see this eclipse. So what I did was I rearranged my schedule. I said, instead of taking a direct flight, what if I have a connection? What if I have a connection? Let me just experiment with this. Let's see if there are any connecting flights from LAX to Philly that are on the path of totality. And lo and behold, there were. And lo and behold, they were timed at a time that if we were there, that we would be able to experience the eclipse. So I saw the eclipse in Austin, Texas yesterday on my way back from LAX, and we got home to Philly last night, and here I am, 7:36 in the morning doing a TikTok live. This is how I roll, but oh my gosh, I have the memory of doing the thing I wanted to do. I made cool stuff happen, and I love doing that for me, and I want to teach you how to do it too. So there we go. All right. Yes, things work. Things feel good until they don't. And just noticing that. I noticed that and I could be better at this, the overeating, the overdrinking, the over farting around. But I also love myself enough to give myself some grace. To know that life is so short, that I want to feel good in my home and I want to feel good in my body. But if it means also that I'm carrying around an extra 5 or 10 pounds, if it means I had like 2 glasses of wine, if it means that my stuff is kind of cluttery, I'm going to love myself. But here's the difference. It's like I look around and so much of my stuff is pretty good that I don't stress out about it. I feel good about what I see. Okay? Okay, now that your dad has died, I don't really care. I feel empty inside. Okay, you know what? I know that feeling. And if it gets to be serious, please, if it feels like you're empty and you're not feeling like you want to feel, there is help out there for you. Now, what I do may not be that way, but when we are face to face with the fact that we're all mortality, I'm going to go deep. We're all going to die. And we don't know when, and we don't know how. And that's so scary and big that we don't even think about it. So we busy ourselves with going to Target, and we busy ourselves with buying stuff, and we busy ourselves with all these little tiny things, because the big mortality is at the big destination. It's a scary one. What I want to just plant the seed is knowing that that's where we're all headed. What are you going to do with the time you have from here to that mystery time? How do you want to feel? How do you want to think? What do you want things to look like in your home? What adventures do you want to have? What do you want to happen before you die? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel like you lived? You want to feel good in the day? Do you want to feel like there's fun stuff going on? Do you want to feel love? Prioritize the things you want. And so if you're not feeling something, and it's been for a while yet, and you're feeling empty and something's missing, I suggest, it may not be that big a deal, but I'm such a caring human that I would rather suggest people get help for their mental health than to minimize it and feel afraid that I misdiagnosed or, minimized a situation. So if you're not feeling the way you want to feel, maybe decluttering is all you need, or is going to help you greatly. That's my level of helping. But if you're feeling not so good because of death and other things, or just how you're wired, there's help out there for you too. Okay? Yeah, and Strong Soul Sister says, I have an affinity for the declutter, but grew up very poor. I have to tell myself I am enough and I have enough. Yes, yes. This is what coaching is all about, is reminding yourself, hey, wait a minute. It's not like that anymore. What I'd rather remind myself of is I have enough, I am enough. And it's something you have to practice until it becomes a little bit more ingrained. Stopping the unwanted, starting the wanted. Putting up your little traffic cop hand and being aware of it. When you're when you have a habitual way of thinking and acting, you can stop that. You get insight. You can pull away. You can get some distance from it. Say, wait a minute, I have a choice here. As soon as you put up your traffic cop hand, when something is happening, you say, hey, wait a minute, I don't like where this is going. If I keep going down this road, this is where it's going to lead. As soon as you do that, the wonderful thing is you stop, hammer time, and you say, wait a minute, I have a choice here. Immediately when you put your traffic cop hand up, that means a fork in the road appears, and you have a choice. You can do the thing that makes you feel like you want to feel, or it doesn't makes you feel like you don't want to feel, or look at that, there's a path. There's a path that's leading to where I'd rather go. I'm going to walk down that path. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to drive down that dirt road because that's leading me to feeling better. That's how it's kind of as easy as that, though I know it isn't always easy. Okay? There we go. I love Disa Maria saying, for me, less is better when it comes to home decor. Less things to dust and clean. Yes. Oh my gosh. And thank you for reminding me of that, because we have people coming to visit this weekend, and I promised myself I would dust my snow dome collection. We'll see if we do that. But you know what I'm going to do? That was an idea I had. I'm going to write it down, snow domes. And look at what I'm doing. I had an idea. I think I would feel better. It's kind of just an excuse. Like, I know they like me regardless of seeing dust on my snow dome collection. However, it's also just an excuse for me to dust it because I've been meaning to do it for a while, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't affect me like on the daily. But notice what I did. I had an idea. I wrote it down. I actually flipped a couple of pages into my notebook, so I wrote it down on a day that I have some free time. I also made it public. Notice what I did is I declared I'm probably going to do this. So if I decide to follow up on it, kind of accountability partners, I'll say, hey, check it out. I promised you guys I'll do it. Baby steps. This is how you get stuff done. Okay? But yes, I love it. April made her bed so she doesn't go back into it. There we go. Yeah, April is also saying, I'll be dead forever and only alive for a little while, making the most of it. Yes, making it. There we go. All right. What else do we have here? Yeah, staying connected to loved ones, seeing events like the eclipse puts things into perspective. I thought it was pretty powerful because there was talk about connection as humans. We often think how separate we are. And yesterday, for like 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour max, there was this connection between people who we all were in the Austin, Texas airport, and we all went outside and we all went, found a place where we could look up at the sky, and many of us had our little glasses. And you felt this slight gossamer thread of connection to random people, that we were all just little ants on this planet, that wow, we are all affected, like there's some commonality there. Now that's too deep. That's a little bit deep, but that's kind of profound. But yeah, what kind of experiences, what kind of feelings do you want to have in your life before you die? Love, connection, the things that keep our species going, the things that make us feel good. So therefore, you can almost say, okay, if that's what I want, but what's in the way? It's probably the stuff that's not making you feel so good. Clutter. Clutter is not the good stuff. No. Clutter is the stuff that just doesn't do it for you. Right now and in the future. It might have been something you dug back in the past. It might have done it for you. You might have dug it in the past. Now, not so much. Knowing the difference between those things and feeling okay to rehome it, because rehoming these things is going to make you feel better. And then taking those actions, that's when you get a life filled with more of what you want and less of what you do. And this is what I teach my clients, my one-on-one clients. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I love it. Just realized that planning hotels for my next trip was easy because I used the BB model. Thank you. You are welcome. Yes. Yeah, shocked. I would be shocked to see breeze blocks in New England. It's so funny because we were in California in Catalina Island. That was kind of fun. And I joked about how we have a house that has clay tile roofs. Talk about architectural elements that are not indigenous to your area, breeze blocks and roof tiles. And I joked to my husband, I'm like, oh, we should probably buy some roof tiles as souvenirs and bring them home for when the ones on our roof break, There we go. Laura says, I make my bed so I have a clothes folding and sorting space. Yeah, you can use having a surface to spread your stuff out on so you can see what you have and work with it is really an important part of the decluttering process. If you don't have the room to declutter, isn't it kind of meta that you don't have the space to find out what you have? But you can start small. But going through your stuff and sorting it out to decide what you want to keep and fold and put away and what you don't want to keep, and you put it in a donation bag, that's part of the process. So I love that. Ah, well, here's the funny thing. So in all these things tend to kind of play off themselves. Like everybody's different. There's an inspirational video somewhere about making your bed every day. The first thing propels you. Well, I'll offer that, except for the fact that when your life is that you get up way early before your husband. If I made the bed when he was still in it, it would be kind of comical. It'd be a big husband-shaped lump underneath the blanket. Now the good news is we've gotten into the habit, and I've said to him, and he's been cool with it, about, hey, since you're the last one in bed, can you just, when you get out, just kind of, it doesn't need to be hospital corners and all the tight-fitted sheets and stuff like that. But doing it at a level that feels good to you. Like I look in and it's like, okay, it's good enough. Works for me. Okay? Notice this. Yeah, Angie is asking, good morning. Good morning. Do you have certain times for your lives? I do, but they are flexible. So let me share you this. I actually had it on my paper calendar today that I was doing a TikTok live at 11 a.m. And then the funny thing is that I had thought at a certain point to do one between 7 and 8. And then I had I'm so old school that I use like whiteout, like one of those little whiteout pens. So that was all my thing. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I actually went over a minute or two with my one-on-one clients. So I was a little bit short starting today. Then I happened to look at my digital calendar over here, and I said, wait a minute, that says TikTok Live 7 to 8 a.m. So I took a look, and then what I did, so this is a long way, sorry, just kind of getting off on a tangent, but Angie, 2 ways you can find out when I do my TikTok Lives. If you're on my mailing list, destinationdeclutter.com/join, I send out a schedule, like 2 weeks in advance, so you know when to show up. But then what I also do is I will eventually make a video that is posted to the top of my TikTok page that gives the calendar, the schedule. Now the crazy thing is I was like, when I looked at my paper, when my paper and my digital were not jibing, then I said, oh crap, well, what did I externally promise people? So I went and I actually watched my own TikTok video where I put the schedule and I saw where it's, and I said, oh, I did say 7 a.m. then. Okay. So it was a few minutes late. Oops, human. Call me Ishmael. And here I am. So I actually feel like I should probably do one 11 to 12 because I don't remember. I may have just promised that to myself. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I will double check the external things, but the fact that is that I'm here where I believe I told most people I would be. And you know what? We're humans. We're gonna mess up. Things are not perfect. Nothing is perfect. You just roll with what you have. Okay? The L word says, I've finally broken my thrifting habit. Interesting. I may resume thrifting once I get under control, but I just need less stuff first. L word, I will tell you, I have thrifted, or I thrifted, almost past tense, really. From the time I was 13, 14, 15, even before that. As I was a little kid, I remember going thrifting with my mother. And I can't remember the name of the place. It doesn't even matter, but I have a picture in my head of what it was. And thrifting for decades. For decades, that was my joy. I used to literally have a map that had pins where there were thrift stores. And on my day off, what I loved to do, loved, notice what I'm saying is all this is in the past past tense. What I used to love to do was to go get more stuff, to look at things, to buy things, to discover like cool things. That was fun for a long time until it wasn't. Until my house started filling up with stuff and it didn't feel good. It felt heavy and not fun. Like the finding of the stuff was like, whee, this is the dopamine hit. This is like the hunt and gather and discover thing. But then having the stuff was kind of more like a weight. So that's when I changed that. And I just realized it's not bringing me joy anymore. And the crazy thing is now sometimes you get afraid. You're like, okay, well, what I did brought me joy and now it doesn't. What do I do with that time? You find different things to do with your time that feel better. It's a journey. Things can work for you for a while until they don't. And be okay with that. You're evolving. You're changing. So congratulations on breaking your thrifting habit. And I still will occasionally go to like a place, but I have no interest right now. You know what I found is that the stuff people are giving away right now, with very few exceptions, just don't do it for me. I used to find some cool vintage stuff when I was thrifting, and now it's a lot more modern kind of disposable crap that just doesn't, I don't feel like weeding through. It's not worth it. I have. The neat thing is, kind of as somebody said up thread, I have enough, I am enough. I love the stuff I have. I am not feeling like I need to acquire anything. I'm good with the quality and the quantity. I could probably shave off 10%, but I have the space for it. I can easily find things, so it doesn't really affect me in that way. But notice these things that you do. Okay, be kind or don't talk to me. Why do I feel so guilty for getting rid of a carload of stuff? I ask you to ask that question to yourself, but here's something that might help. What might help is for you to even think of the fact that you're not getting rid of it, unless you are putting it in a landfill or at the dump. That could be a thing. I went to a conference this weekend for professional organizers and whatever. My brain is kind of fried at the moment. But what I will offer is one tidbit I got from somebody from like the San Francisco chapter, doesn't even matter, was thinking of, this is when I'm practicing, you're going to notice this, I'm trying to stop, I'm being aware that I'm going to stop with my little traffic cop hand using the term get rid of. I'm going to pause when I hear myself almost saying that. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to say, I have a choice here. I can continue without thinking, habitually using get rid of, but I don't like the vibe of that phrase. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to start using, and I've already started using, rehoming things. These things in my home aren't doing it for me in my home, but they might help somebody else in their home. I like the feeling of rehoming things, donating things, that the things that no longer serve me doesn't mean that they don't serve anybody. It's just not for me, but they might help somebody else. They could help somebody else. My extra clothes, my extra kitchen stuff, my extra just, like cool vintage things that, because I used to collect, I used to vintage thrift. So I'm kind of throwing stuff back into the mix so somebody else who still enjoys thrifting can be like, oh, check out what I found. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we did trash picking and yard sales, still do it. Yeah. Um, I love thrifting and hand-me-downs. Yeah, I justify them. Notice we have a story. I am resurrecting this item. You know? I do the same thing. I did the same thing, but now I choose to realize that I am good, and I actually feel like when I don't thrift, that means there's more good stuff out there for the people who are actually enjoying it. Now, this does not mean, gosh, nothing is ever like 100%. This does not mean I don't go occasionally and look at stuff or, do a slow roll, or we were talking about the Snoop Dogg and stuff, slow roll past somebody's really big trash heap that it looks like it has, cool stuff in it. I'm not going to go digging in somebody's garbage, but if there's furniture, I might find a Bertoya chair. You never know. And I still do that, but I also don't feel the need to. I used to do that to kind of fill a hole in my soul. It was filling my time when I didn't know what I want to do with my life. I was getting that dopamine hit of discovery. I loved sharing. One of the things you will find out about me, I found out about myself, 2 things that I really love to do is discover and then share. This to me is how I'm wired. Hey, check that. Oh, I found this cool thing. I've really found this useful. You might want it too. That's why I do coaching. I have discovered things to do. I have discovered a certain way of being and doing things and thinking about things and processes that I've tried out, I've played around with. This doesn't work. I don't do that. I tweak it. I make it better. I share it. It works with other people. I show up more. So this is how I'm wired. This is why I do coaching, because I have discovered ways of thinking and feeling and doing that have transformed my life into something that is just, I think my younger self would have dreamt of, but have felt like it was such a dream that it was not even achievable. It's achievable. I can help you with that. Okay? And you're welcome, user 1963, saying thank you for inspiring and motivating with each live. You're welcome. I only have about 6 or 5 minutes to go right now because I'm going to jump back into coaching. But I want to leave you with a couple of things. First of all, it is never too late to live a life you love. Sure, would I have loved to live a life I loved in my 20s or 30s? Or teens? Yeah. There was percentages, don't get me wrong. It's not all black and white. But I will say, when you become aware, when you learn about yourself, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you want to do more of, all of the things about you, getting to know all about you, the most important person in the whole wide world is you, and you hardly even know you. Get to know yourself and the things that bring you joy and the things that don't bring you joy. Rehome get rid of the things that don't bring you joy. And then that you have just organically, the joy you have is increased exponentially. Okay? And this is life coaching because I'm a certified life coach. But also, this is decluttering. Decluttering is getting rid of the stuff that you don't want in your life and in your home. And I know that big scary feeling of, what do you want to do with your life? I want to rock. I was afraid of that answer because I felt like, what do I want to do? I can't get it, so why even try? However, let's start small. Let's get small, as Steve Martin would say. Get small. And let's start about your home. The one room you're in a room today, right now. I'm looking around. What do you want your room? How does that room look now? How do you want it to look? How do you want to feel when you're in that home, that room? Just that one room of your house. One room. Never mind anything else outside of this one room. And then you can do some stuff to get yourself feeling better in that room. Now, if you don't know what those things are, but you do know some of them, you do. You do. I know you know what to do. What you don't know what to do, when you get stuck at a certain point, that's when you get in touch with me. I'm a coach. I help you with this stuff. I show up and offer these free things on TikTok. I do one-on-one paid coaching, all of that. Yeah, I love it. Steve is saying, my mom say, keep it in circulation. I love that. Even the cyclical notion of these things. If you aren't using it, let someone else use it. Yeah, so many things are the circle. It's like, it did it for me for a while and now it doesn't, so I'm not going to hand it off to somebody else. I love that. Yeah, Cat Mama says, wow, the hour went by fast today. Going to watch some of you. And yep, those TikTok lives that are recorded. I actually Don't know if I should look. I won't waste our time right now, but I did 2 pop-up TikToks lives when I was at my conference. One of them I was trying to upload as we were leaving, but when they tend to be about an hour long, it takes a while, so it may not be up there yet, but I will. This one will be recorded and up live. Okay. Yeah. If you know you're gathering and filling the void, yeah, give yourself some grace for your grief. No, but notice what you're doing. You're trying to fill your heart. You're trying to fill the hole in your soul with stuff. That can help for a little while, but it's not a long-term thing. And it may cause even more clutter. What you might want to think of is, how do I want to feel? I want to feel better. And is the stuff in my home making me feel better? If it is, sure, that's cool, keep it. But if it's not, maybe you can think of the decluttering as you reclaiming your life the way you want it, okay? Giving yourself some grace. There we go. And I love it. Hi says, as a librarian, totally in circulation. I mean, you guys, that's like bright library talk. Keep it in circulation. Yeah, so many things are seasonal. We have seasons of our lives. This to me is the season of my life where I've gotten my shit together enough that I love what I'm doing and I want to help other people do it too. I wasn't in this season when I was in my 20s and 30s. I needed the help. But I was afraid to ask for it. I thought I was broken. I thought things were just the way they were and that's how it is. No, 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 no. Okay. All right. You know what? Akaraya Tantra, I apologize if I'm jamming up your name. I apologize if I'm getting it wrong, but you know who I'm talking to. My sibs are forcing me to move out, which stresses me. Okay. It sounds like you've got some stuff going on. It does. I bet there are some resources. Do you have a friend? Do you have somebody in your community who can help you with this stuff? I love that you are articulating this stuff so you know the stuff behind the stuff. Now taking the next step to do something. Now I'm going to hop off right now because I'm jumping back into coaching. So I don't mean to leave you in the lurch, but I want to leave everybody with, if you're struggling with something, clutter-wise or otherwise, there's help out there. Okay? And thank you, Lori Hannah. Nice to see you. And thank you for sending her love, or them. I don't know if it's her. I was implying it was her. Love and support. Okay? And there's help out there. If you need clutter help, I'm here. But there's help out there for whatever you're doing. Okay? And I will see you maybe later today. I'm not necessarily promising it, but I've got more TikTok lives this week. Okay? And you got this all. You can do this, and you deserve to live a life you love. And I can help you get there if you're cluttered. Okay?